Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me in another lesson. Now this lesson is the most requested lesson and it is going to be about Keylogger. So for those who don't know what a keylogger is, it's a malicious tool that you are going to plant in one of your victim's computer and record the keystrokes from the keyboard. Now this program can run as long as you want it to, and it will keep bringing you the data from the keyboard. Eventually, every single key that has been pressed on that keyboard is going to get recorded in a log file that we are going to create. So without further ado, we are going to start this project. If you have seen my previous videos, we have used Nano instead of any kind of IDE, just to demonstrate the situation where we are not equipped with our favorite tools. But in this situation, I'm going to start writing this program in PyCharm. You can download the community edition. It's completely free. And once you have downloaded, you can click on New Project. And we are going to call this project Keylogger. And press Enter when you're ready. Once you get your project started, hit Control A and delete everything because we do not need it. Let the indexing finish. And from py input dot keyboard, we are going to import listener. Now as you can see that py_input.keyboard is not being recognized as any kind of command or package. It's because our virtual environment doesn't even have this package installed within it. So to install this package, all we need to do is say pip3 install and py_input. Press enter and let the installation finish. So after that installation is done, we are coming back to our code editor, and then we are going to start with our listener. So we are going to say that whenever listener, and whenever we are going to press a key, consider it as a key press and record it as listener, so we do not have to call it again and again with the whole function name. Whenever we need it, we are going to call listener, just like right now, and we are going to say listener dot join. That means please start. But we haven't defined this function on press yet, so we are going to start by defining this function called on press, and we are going to give an argument of key within it, because from our keyboard we are going to get the key presses. But before that, we want to say that our count is going to start from 0 and our keys are going to be stored within a list. So with that said, we are going to say that their program, please use the variables that we have just defined, and don't get confused because we are using the same variables as the variables within this function. And we are going to say append once we get any kind of key press, and make it as countable +1. That means consider it as a next keystroke from the previous one. Every time we press a key, it's gonna add up into the keys. So we have to be very specific right now. So if you find that your count is greater than 1 or equal to 1, then get back it to 0 and write it within a file. Now we have to write a function that is going to write all the keys that we are going to press on our keyboard in a file. So we're gonna say write the list of keys that we are going to provide, and then reset it back to your list. It's keys. So now we have to write a function that's going to write the keys within a file. So we are going to say define write file, and we are going to process all those keys within here. So with open, that means we are going to give the file name over here. We are going to say log.txt. It's a very common name for a lot of logs out there. And to get less suspicious, if you're going to give something like keyspress.txt, it's probably going to get caught up by the antivirus. So try to be as casual as you can. And we are going to append that file as f. So we do not have to write this whole function again and again. And then we're gonna say that for key in keys, that means every key that we are going to press within this list of keys, call them as k, convert them into a string, and what else? Yeah, one thing that you need to know is whenever you are using pineput.keyboard, it's gonna give you the output something like this. So if I have to write hello, my hello would look like this in an output file. So I want to replace these single quotes. To do so, I'm going to say replace those single quotes with nothing. And it's going to turn my hello like this, right? So once we have done this, we have to define some special keys, like we have caps lock, we have control, we have spacebar. How our program is going to know when the user has pressed a shift key to write his password, if there is a character in his password that's in uppercase. Let's suppose if the password is something like this, right? So we should know whenever the user has pressed shift key to turn this E into an uppercase. So we are going to write something like this. If k, which is our keys, if you find that a user has pressed the spacebar, which is eventually going to be greater than 0, then write it as a single space. And then we are going to copy this little function and paste it many times. But instead, we are going to use it else if or elif. So after spacebar, we have a tab. So whenever you find a tab, just give it a tab. Else if you find someone presses an enter, give it a new line. Else if what? If someone has pressed shift key, call it as shift, the space, shift, space, so we would know. So in the example that I have given before, it's going to be like this. We would know that E is definitely a capital. What else we have? We have caps lock. So in case if someone press caps lock, just write space caps lock space. So we would know that once again someone is trying to write an uppercase character. What else can we do? I think that's pretty much it. And I'm going to run this program. So when I will press any key over here, I am supposed to get a log file over here. So let's try it. So in my output window, I have written has been done. Let's stop this program. And when we go back to our output, it says nothing because we haven't defined for every other key. That means in case we are pressing any other key, move it to -1 and just print the K. Let's save it once again and run it. Hello? Is it working? So if we open our, so you can see that it says hello, is it working, shift, and a question mark. That's why we have defined this function over here, shift. Now if I would have to say shift HELLO, I should get everything in caps too. But anyhow, it's a good decision to include these kind of extra keys in it because you never know. So now we have written our program. I'm going to stop it. That means it's working fine. I do not care about these exceptions, these error exceptions when I stop this program, because I'm not going to stop it in this scenario. But anyways, you can improve your program by handling those error exceptions by yourself. So my next step is going to be transporting this Python file, this Python script, into my Windows machine or any Windows machine that I am planning to target and plant it there permanently. But in fact, before doing so, I will have to import this keylogger into my own Windows machine so that I can create an executable and then transport that executable to any remote computer. So let's jump right into it. So I have one Windows machine running on IP 107, and I'm going to connect that machine through our desktop. So in order to transport my Python script, I can use a USB drive, a USB stick, or I could just copy this script right here and paste right here. And I'm going to make a new folder over here called Keylogger. So it will be easier for me to contain all the files. get back to my shared folder, try to copy this file, and if you're not able to paste it, just open another window and drag this here. It happens due to certain securities of different files. You do not have to worry about it. So one trick that I'm going to tell you in Windows, if you want to open a command prompt within the location of that folder, just write cmd into the address bar and it's going to open it at exact location and you do not have to navigate. So with the help of a package called PyInstaller, we're going to say pip3 install PyInstaller. And of course, I have PyInstaller already installed within my system. So I am going to say PyInstaller main.py -- one file. I do not want to create a folder. I just want to create one file, so we do not need any kind of dependency. And even though the Python is not installed in a target computer, we can still run this file. And then we do not want any kind of console. That means we want it to run completely hidden. And one more important thing, you can rename this file to something match the services of Windows, such as services like, Google Crash Handler or something that runs constantly within the system. I can call this file anything and it's gonna appear as a name of anything within Task Manager. But to distinguish it right now, I'm going to keep it as main.py. So once I press enter, it is going to generate one file for me. I'm going to put it to action. It can take some time since I'm running 2 or 3 different virtual machines on that computer. It's taking a little bit time. So once you are done, you will end up with a folder called distribution, and there will be your file within this folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this and run my file main.exe. Now you might have noticed that I do not have any kind of window or any kind of notification that my program is running, but you can go ahead and look within Task Manager and you will find out that main.exe is running smoothly without any kind of errors. So that means if I write anything on this keyboard, it's gonna take that input and record in log.txt. So what if I start by writing Task Manager over here, just to see if the Task Manager is gonna appear on this list. But somehow it's taking too much long, and since I'm within our desktop, it's gonna take forever. But to prove my point, I am going to write this is an address bar. And if I open my Google Chrome and write gmail.com and press enter and click onto the link that says sign in, which eventually is gonna take me to the Google sign in page, asking me to input my email address and password to sign in. So I'm going to say this is my email address at gmail.com, and I press enter. And I'm going to say my password so you don't know what my password is. And I press enter once again. And definitely I have given wrong password, and this is not my email address, so it's not gonna let me sign in. But the point is, if you go back to log.txt, you are going to find each and everything that I have just input through my keyboard. So as you can recognize, as you can remember, I have given the command task manager in the start menu right over here, and then I wrote this is an address bar in that window over here, and then I went to gmail.com. Then I had given my email address. This is my email address, and to write the @ I press shift key and 2, and then I have given the password. This is my password 1234, and at the end I pressed these backslashes by mistake. But my point is, even if I'm trying to write within this file, this is a test. So if I save this file, I should get this when I open this file again. But if I close it without saving it, it shouldn't be there. But somehow it is still there. So if I inactivate everything through mouse click outside the window, and I'm just going to say hello, this is just a random key test, and I close this file and I open it again, I'm going to say this is just a random key test. And every time I make a mistake, like right here, I have given N instead of M, and then I press backspace, and then I have put M key. So it's gonna keep increasing within this file. Eventually, you decide to Control A, delete, and save this file. So next time when you open it, you wouldn't find anything in here. Now this keylogger is sitting at my desktop. To make it completely hidden, I can transfer this keylogger within any directory and keep this main.exe within automatic startups like you get within your task manager. So if I do that, this keylogger is going to start every time with the system, like these applications right here. And it's going to keep saving the information within log.txt. So whenever you can connect back to your remote computer, you can extract this txt file, which is super light, and it's not gonna take much time to transfer. Or all you can do is cat the file, or if you're within Windows environment through command shell, you can just say type log.txt, and it's gonna spit out everything that's inside, including what I have just written right now. So I hope you have learned something through this lesson. Please share this knowledge with other people who might be interested, and do not use this lesson for any kind of malicious activity. Keep it everything 100% positive so you can learn more things in the future. Have a good one, and I will see you in our next lesson. Bye.